When Clark walked in, Elmore reached into his backpack and pulled out the green camo-patterned ghost gun, with 13 rounds loaded and one spent shell already blocking the slide. He fired 5 times directly at Clark. Clark was hit 4 times, with one bullet striking his body camera and destroying it, and the other 3 causing gunshot wounds. Clark returned fire, shooting Elmore and accidentally hitting Stoppel, who had jumped on top of Elmore to try to wrestle the gun away.
YouTube, what's good, family? It's MasoMoney. We right back with another video. So look, today's video is when suburban kids fail at being gangster. Now, I could really feel this out because I'm from the city. I'm from the city like that, and I was always good. I played sports. I didn't want to be in the streets, okay? Now, for some reason, since I moved from the city of Chicago to the suburbs, I live in the north suburbs. Those were good people. When you move to the south suburbs, all of these different areas of these cities, I'm sure it's the same for you. Where you from? Like, for some reason, the suburban kids want to be street more than the kids who's hungry. Like, some people operating off of survival. That's why they're in the streets. They got to move these packs. They got to do thug stuff. They got to shoot at people. They got to survive because of the street they from. Suburban kids do this shit because they genuinely think it's fun. They want to risk their life. Boy, I know a kid whose mama bought him full of Miri, full Balenci, all the stuff that little brother them stealing and killing for. His mama bought it for him. He's still trying to drill. These boys is dumb. From nice households, I'm talking about $100,000, $300,000 houses. Mama and daddy at home. Mama will buy you a house and a car on your 16th birthday if you want it. These suburban kids want to be thugs. I never understood it. But look, I'm MasoMoney, so make sure y'all like and subscribe because we're going to see what happens when you fail at chasing a lifestyle that you probably don't really want. Let's get straight into it.
Johnson County, Kansas sits just across the state line from Kansas City, Missouri, and it is about as far from the streets as it gets. Johnson is the kind of area where men wear khaki cargo shorts to a cookout, or people's largest problem is their local HOA. Johnson County has consistently ranked among the safest suburban counties in the entire United States. Carmel and Noblesville in Indiana usually get all the headlines for safety rankings, but Johnson County, with its cities of Olathe, Shawnee, Lenexa, Gardner, and Overland Park, is right there with them. In 2020 and 2021, the city of Shawnee had 0 homicides, which is pretty crazy for an American city, but then something changed. Between 2021 and 2023, a wave of teenagers with clips started tearing through one of the most comfortable suburban counties in America, robbing people, shooting each other, bringing guns to school, and leaving a trail of dead bodies and prison sentences behind them. By 2022, the sheriff said his deputies were watching normal suburban teenagers killing each other, not over hard shit like fentanyl or heroin or anything you'd expect, but over dime bags of weed. This is what happens when suburban kids try to play gangsta. It started in the most public and jarring way possible on the morning of Friday, March 4th, 2022, inside the main office of Olathe East High School. Olathe East is a large public high school on West 127th Street, the kind of school with a football team and a booster club and school pride competitions. Jaylon Deason Elmore was 18 years old and a senior there. He was also a convicted felon who, back in 2020 when he was 16, had been convicted of robbery in juvenile court in Wyandotte County for forcibly stealing a man's wallet and had completed 6 months of probation. That prior conviction meant he was legally prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm, which didn't stop him from getting his hands on a ghost gun, a kind of homemade, untraceable pistol assembled from a 3D printed kit you can buy without a background check. A fellow student on the bus noticed Elmore's ghost gun and tipped off school administrators. On the morning of March 4th, Assistant Principal Caleb Stoppel pulled Elmore out of shop class under the pretense of discussing his academic standing and asked him to bring his backpack. Once Elmore was in the office, Stoppel switched the subject and told him the school was searching everyone involved in the bus incident. Elmore immediately got defensive, moved his backpack around to his front, and refused to let anyone near it. Stoppel texted school resource officer Eric Clark to come to the office right away. When Clark walked in, Elmore reached into his backpack and pulled out the green camo-patterned ghost gun, with 13 rounds loaded and one spent shell already blocking the slide. He fired 5 times directly at Clark. Clark was hit 4 times, with one bullet striking his body camera and destroying it, and the other 3 causing gunshot wounds. Clark returned fire, shooting Elmore and accidentally hitting Stoppel, who had jumped on top of Elmore to try to wrestle the gun away.
Bruh, this little nigga did what? So you telling me his ass brought a gun to school? Not only does he bring the gun to school, He shoot the school security guard for trying to take the gun from him? Oh no. He actually slow. Bro, he gets pulled out of class with a ghost gun and immediately shoots the school up, basically. Now, hell no, send his ass up the road. That little nigga needs to go to prison, bro. Y'all say don't wish death on nobody. That nigga needs some correction. His little ass is slow. Just shooting innocent people trying to do their damn job because you want to be a felon out here. Okay, bro. All right, bro. And he's from Olathe, gang. He not from fucking Compton. What the fuck?
Clark and Stoppel were all rushed to Overland Park Regional Medical Center. Clark and Stoppel were treated and released the same day. Elmore was critically injured and spent roughly 2 months in the hospital, undergoing multiple surgeries before he was stable enough to be transferred to jail. While he was still recovering, someone sent a text to his phone that said, "I told you not to even have that gun on you." The identity of the sender was redacted from the court documents. Elmore's attorney later told reporters that his client's only regret was not just handing the gun over when he had the chance. "I don't know how many times he has said to me, I should have just given them the damn gun." In January 2025, Elmore pleaded guilty to attempted premeditated first-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a felon. In March 2025, Judge T. Kelly Ryan sentenced him to 20 years in prison. 2 months after the Olathe East shooting, in the early hours of Saturday, May 14th, 2022, Olathe police were called to Black Bob Park at around 4 a.m. Black Bob Park is a wide-open public park at 14500 West 151st Street with soccer fields and walking trails. When officers arrived, they found 19-year-old Marco Cardino of Smithville, Missouri, shot multiple times and slumped in his car. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Cardino was a Shawnee Mission West graduate who had grown up entirely in the Johnson County school system. He had been lured to that park to sell marijuana to a group of teenagers he had dealt with before. One of the girls in the group had purchased vapes and alcohol from him previously and knew how to reach him. On the night of May 13th, the 6 teenagers were at a crib drinking and smoking, but they ran out of weed fast. Instead of paying for it, they came up with another plan. A 13-year-old girl in the group messaged Cardino on Snapchat and set up a deal. Black Bob Park was chosen as the location. The 6 teenagers drove there in 2 separate vehicles. They brought masks and a gun. The ringleader of the group was Jacoby Epting, who was 14 years old. According to prosecutors,
20 over years. Bro, so this kid is like 19, 20-year-old. He the plug around Olathe, Kansas. So they probably killed his ass for a KD. They killed him for no weed, for real. They ain't killing for no. It ain't like he getting pounds and bricks off. He in Johnson County, Kansas, nigga. It's not the biggest plug. Serving some kids. Some motherfuckers probably killed his ass for $100 for a buck.
Epting organized the robbery, instructed the other 5 teenagers on their roles, brought the gun, and wore a mask to conceal his face. When Cardino arrived at the park to do the deal, the males in the group got out of the vehicles. Epting pulled the gun out, showed it to Cardino, and shot him. Cardino died in the park. A second person at the scene was also shot at but survived. All 6 teenagers, 4 who were 14 and 2 who were 13, were charged with first-degree murder. The DA's office sought to try the 4 14-year-olds as adults. Kansas law prohibits trying 13-year-olds as adults, regardless of the crime. At least 4 of the 6 were middle school students at the time. By the time every case was resolved, the outcomes broke down like this. Jacoby Epting, identified by prosecutors as the person who orchestrated the crime and pulled the trigger, pleaded guilty in October 2024 to second-degree murder and was sentenced in February 2025 to just over 20 years in an adult prison. 2 others pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and were sentenced to juvenile correctional facilities until they turned 22 and a half, after which they faced nearly 13 years in adult prison. 1 other member of the plot pleaded no contest to aggravated battery and received 15 months of probation. The 2 13-year-olds were prosecuted entirely within the juvenile system, their records sealed. 6 months after Black Bob Park, on the night of November 30th, 2022, Shawnee police were called to the 11,000 block of Johnson Drive for a welfare check near a strip of businesses. Officers found 25-year-old Gerard Rogers suffering from a gunshot wound to the head in a parking lot near Johnson Drive and Neiman Road in downtown Shawnee. He was taken to Overland Park Regional Medical Center, where he died 2 days later. Rogers was from Kansas City, Missouri, and had driven to Shawnee to sell marijuana to a group of 5 teenagers who had contacted him over text and social media. What Rogers didn't know was that he was not going to a drug deal. he was walking into a robbery. When he showed up, Fernando Gonzalez Prado and Fernando Reyes Lara, 17 and 18 years old respectively, got out of a vehicle with a big gun and told the other three they would take care of the payment. Rogers was shot in the head, but no witness would confirm which one of them actually fired the shot. After the shooting, Gonzalez Prado and Reyes Lara took Rogers' Dodge Ram and drove it to Missouri, where police later found it abandoned using a GPS locator on one of Rogers' phones left inside the truck. The 5 teenagers charged were Fernando Reyes Lara, Fernando Gonzalez Prado, and 17-year-olds Roger Hernandez, Kylie Guzman, and Sabrina Clark. Reyes Lara alone had 15 prior juvenile criminal offenses on his record at the time of the shooting, including multiple firearm possession.
That nigga looked like he did a few crimes. Look at this nigga, man. Oh, like, look at this nigga. But I could tell you who the dumb bitch who set
Kylie
it up. This is the dumb bitch who definitely set this shit up. Look at her dumb ass happily. Just gonna do a little 23 years in prison. I'll be home in 20 years, guys. It won't be too long. This bitch is dumb. Robbing and doing shit. The thing about robbing I never got is you risking 10, 20, 30 years, football numbers of years for something that you could probably work 1 week and just buy if you had any ounce of a brain. Why are you trying to rob your Kansas City plug? He's not about to give you a flight full of Mary Jane. You're about to go to prison. Or you're going to make $400 to split amongst 5 people. You're a dumbass.
And Sabrina Clark. Reyes Lara alone had 15 prior juvenile criminal offenses on his record at the time of the shooting, including multiple firearm possession charges, and had been on probation just 2 months before Rogers was killed. The following day, multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Kansas Highway Patrol, Olathe Police, and Shawnee Police, were involved in a chase that ended near 118th Street and Black Bob Road in Olathe, where one suspect was taken into custody. A second turned themselves in at a Kansas City police station that same morning. All 5 were in custody within days. This was Shawnee's 3rd homicide of 2022. Reyes Lara was sentenced in March 2024 to 400 months. Roger Hernandez received 100.
What's 400 months, y'all? Bro, I don't be liking that, bro. You ever talk to a nigga in prison for a long time? You talk to a nigga in the feds, talk to a nigga, yeah, man, I got 168 months left. Like, bro, how many years is that? 400 divided by 12. Divided by 12. Oh, shit. That's 33 and a half years.
47 months. Gonzalez Prado pleaded guilty in March 2025 to second-degree murder and aggravated robbery. Kylie Guzman was sentenced in August 2024 to 147 months. Sabrina Clark was sentenced to 95 months in a juvenile correctional facility. Then, in April 2023, Olathe added another one to the list. On April 15, 2023, at around 4:45 in the afternoon, police were called to a parking lot at the Clarion Park Apartments at 16700 West 127th Street. By the time they got there, the car had already rolled from the parking lot and come to rest outside a salon on Rogers Road. Inside were 19-year-old Jessica Hicks of Olathe and 18-year-old Monterrio Spencer Jr. of Kansas City, Missouri. Hicks was pronounced dead at the scene. Spencer was rushed to a hospital and died from his injuries. Police determined that Hicks and Spencer had shot each other inside the car. The incident began in the parking lot, and the car kept rolling until it stopped.